What's up? My name's Cooper. I'm 2.5 years sober. I don't know why I just did that peace sign, but that's what I'm here for. And I just wanted to sort of talk to you guys about a continuation of the last video I made, which was about hustle culture. I'm sure hustle culture sounds all too familiar with you. I'm sure beating yourself up might sound familiar to you. And if it does, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you and help myself in the process as well. So strap on in, come along for the journey, and we'll get right into it. I wanted to focus on building a community here. That was my goal with this channel, and I've looked at my demographics. It looks like we're talking about 80 to, not 80. 80 would be, I mean, if you're 80 and you want to join my channel, I love you, appreciate you, but I meant to say 18. So 18 to about 35 was where my demographic was. So I'm looking forward to going on this journey with you guys because I am coming up on my 31st birthday myself. So let's do this together. And the most important topic that I wanted to talk about is sort of a continuation of last week was that taking breaks is okay. In fact, I would argue that taking breaks is essential. You need breaks to sort of recover and become who you want to become, right? So that's kind of what I was looking to get through to you on this video. Because trust me, it is a game changer. Now, if you're anything like me, have you ever gone to bed early and you've set this goal for yourself to go to bed a little bit earlier, but your schedule's not quite adjusted to that, but you're like, no, I'm gonna start going to bed earlier. So you go to bed earlier and then you're tossing and turning for hours on end, and it's getting even harder because your best ideas are coming to you all of a sudden when you are in complete boredom and you're just tossing and turning. And now your brain's in this super creative mode almost. And that's why I argue that I think boredom is often a good thing. And this culture that we have around hustle culture and everything, where we're like, we need to be doing something all the time. No, I would almost implore you to enter a sort of meditative state and learn from that, grow from that, and start to come up with your own ideas from there as to what you want to do, where you want to go. Obviously, that's big picture, but that's when we have a majority of our ideas, is when we're in that state of boredom. I also find when you're burnt out, your productivity goes down anyway. So there's no sense in really burning yourself out if it's not doing you any favors. Because I don't know if you've ever noticed this, but when you do take that break, watch a movie, whatever it is, you usually do end up coming back more focused, more determined than you were before. And that's because you gave yourself that moment of respite. And when you're just always on the grind, 24/7, 365, I don't take no break, that's not a healthy way to live. I'll talk about my own personal stories. For example, when I think of jiu-jitsu, whenever I see a new guy who comes into jiu-jitsu, they're always, oh, I want to do 47 classes a week and learn all the moves, and they want to get as best as they possibly can at jiu-jitsu immediately. And it's a very long-term thing. And I'll even quote one of my favorite authors, Tim Ferriss. He has a rule called the 80-20 rule, in which 80% of the results gets accomplished in the first 20% of the effort, right? So if you're just always pedal to the metal, always trying to get everything done and kill the game, it's not really going to do much for you, right? You need to have those moments of respite. And especially in a physical sport, a physically demanding sport like jiu-jitsu, football, whatever it is, if there's any sort of physical demand, you're just overworking your body at that point. Especially if you're trying to do the lifting routine and everything at the same time, you're really going to end up messing yourself up. So I truly do believe in the 80-20 rule. And that's something that I think people who do work really hard and have worked really hard their whole life to attain certain things, when they come into a sport like jiu-jitsu, they're put off because they're not getting it immediately. Yet they're putting in all of this effort. Meanwhile, the guy who shows up to class 2-3 times a week is sweeping the floor with them, both figuratively and literally. So that's where I would argue you have to find that balance. You can't just be pedal to the metal all the time. You have to give yourself those moments of respite to be creative, to be with yourself, to learn who you are, what you represent, and what you're all about. Really try and figure out what makes you tick, what inspires you, and focus your energy on that. Don't put it into 20 different things and then get nothing. There's a saying, the man, I'm probably butchering this, but the man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither, right? So put your effort into a few things and take time to relax and be with yourself and learn in those moments about how you can take other aspects of your life further. And that can be respite. Watching a movie, reading a book, you can also learn from those things too, right? You can identify with the characters and the trials and tribulations that they may have to overcome, right? So it's not always just I'm reading for fun or I'm watching a movie for fun too. You can get things out of that people wouldn't anticipate. So as far as practical tips go, schedule breaks for yourself. Be mindful of it. You don't just want to be making 12-hour days of watching movies or binging a show, but if that does happen, it happens. Habits are forming, right? You have to start small. James Clear talks about that in Atomic Habits. You can't just expect to go, and that's another thing with New Year's resolutions and stuff. People think they're going to go from going to never going to the gym to all of a sudden now they're going to go 7 days a week. They're going to eat super clean. They're going to do all of these things. No, start small, because when you make these triumphant, huge goals and then you don't hit them, you end up regressing and going back because you set just an astronomical goal. Hustle culture of always hustling, I'm going to work out 7 days a week, and that's just not feasible right away. You can work up to that, sure, if that's your goal, by all means, but I say start small, build little wins from there, and then see where that takes you. I would even recommend just disconnecting entirely, we're all guilty of this, the whole doom scroll. The algorithms are literally built to project to you things that you want to see. It knows you almost better than you know yourself, right? So it's good to just kind of throw the phone away, toss the phone away, and take some time to be with yourself and grow from there. Not always hustling. And it distracts you too. Like, you can be, and this is what I mean, this is why I have to be careful when I say don't fall for hustle culture, but also don't end up in that trap where you're just scrolling endlessly to sort of avoid doing things, right? There's a fine balance, but everybody needs respite, for sure. You need rest in order to grow, in order to have the energy to do things. Even think about it, sleep, that's one of the most important things, and I think that's probably the most restful activity because it's literal sleep. So enjoy your leisure time, whether that's playing video games, watching a movie, reading a book, doing rock climbing. You're not wasting time, you're recharging. You are a battery too, like a actual battery. You run out of energy as well, and if you're not recharging those levels, you're bound to burn out. So all in all, the big picture that I'm trying to get at is take your time, rest, enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, pursue the things you want to pursue, but don't burn yourself out in the process. So I'll ask you now, how do you guys like to recharge? Because I'd love to hear about it. I'm trying to find new ways to sort of relax that aren't as time consuming as the ones that I'm used to, like video games and whatnot. So what do you do to sort of recharge after a long day? I'd love to hear it in the comments. That's my favorite part of having a small community. And thank you guys very much. I just hit 100 subscribers, and some people would be, oh, that's not a lot, but put 100 people in a room. I'm thankful for everybody that's here. I'm grateful for everybody that's here. So I'd love to hear how you recharge, and I'd love to get engagement in the comments and have conversations with you guys, because that's one of the benefits of having a small channel is I get this time to sort of hang out with you guys and get to know my community better. So please, I implore you, let me know what's going on in the comments. Let me know what kind of pressures you deal with, and then maybe I can sort of tailor a video to you or tailor the video to a broader audience, that because what you'll find is you're not alone in these thoughts, right? So I definitely appreciate some comments, some feedback. Let me know how you guys recharge. And yeah, if you are subscribed, I appreciate you very much. Thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you on the next one. And to the 104 subscribers I have currently, thank you so much for coming along. I really do appreciate that, guys. It means the world to me. I know I'm just a small YouTuber, but it really does mean the world to me. It keeps me going. It gives me a sense of purpose that there's now 104 people here who really care to hear what I have to say. And that means a lot to me, and I will be eternally grateful for that. So thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you on the next one. All the best.